That's correct. Yeah, and
Okay.
to continue the background of everything, so Oscar built Metazone, and the content within Metazone was supposed to be NFTs, and everything is sort of have been off chain for the last year, and there's a couple of reasons why it was sort of good to not move everything on chain, and we're officially live on YouTube, by the way. So let me share the link with everybody here.
All right, here we
Um,
go. YouTube live.
so there's a couple of good reasons to keep things off chain, and something like a new product like Metazone, Metaverse being extremely new 2 years ago, it was hard to really predict and really know exactly what the community needed when making content, deploying content in the metaverse. And so, had we made everything into NFTs on day one, it would have sort of kind of made it difficult for us to be nimble and adjust. So it was a good thing that we didn't make everything on chain. But now with this Rovy project, right off the bat, everything's on chain. And having done everything on chain, now we can start transitioning some of that tech and knowledge into our existing platform, Metazone. And the main idea is not only to showcase the capabilities of a product like Metazone, but it's really about allowing and enabling the creator community to leverage the tools that we've built and to create their own PFP project, their own 3D, procedurally generated project. And we're believers that there's going to be, a huge like metaverse renaissance coming up pretty soon.
Hmm.
And we really believe in the functionality of these NFTs, going beyond just the 2D art, which is great. The 2D art is great. I've seen like everything from demons to cubes as PFP projects, and and we just wanted to bring sort of our own spin to the whole idea, and start re-engaging with the community and doing stuff that allows the community to participate at a deeper level, because that's the whole point of being part of the metaverse, is that everyone is supposed to collaborate and build. Because I think, in my opinion, if you're going to create a metaverse, I think with NFTs and blockchain, you want to really encourage the community to contribute and build. And to do everything by yourself is, I don't know, I think it's a non-starter. And so that's why, we're big in kind of the metaverse thing, because we believe in the whole aspect of having the community contribute. So that's why we're here. We're kind of here to sort of like introduce ourselves to like a new side of the community. So of course you got iMan. That's the guy I started a podcast with, and my brother Corv. He's back end guy, does everything. He's built everything so far that you've seen. And specifically for Rovies, the most important aspect of the Rovies is that anyone could use these tools and submit their own project, right? It's their own procedurally generated project. And yeah, this is just a showcase of that technology. And yeah, so we're going to be starting what is the pre-sale in August 19th, so a couple of days. So, Iman, what do you think about the whole kind of PFP project? What's your opinion on everything that you've seen? Because I think you've done a ton more research on this, and just give me your assessment on things, on how everything's like progressing and kind of moving towards.
Well, I think it's just yeah, the big thing is we are metaverse focused. We've been metaverse focused for, I guess, since our intro into this space. No, I've been around since 2017, just like everybody else, right? We all started out as degens, flipping tokens and stuff like that. But now we're much deeper. Once we discovered the metaverse, we haven't been able to escape it. It's like one of those concepts, one of those visions that as soon as it grab you feel the gravity, the effect of like what the metaverse can do and achieve into the future. That's it, man. It's game over. It's probably one of the strongest pulls that I've felt in my lifetime personally. So
Yeah.
seeing the PFP space like expand to what it is now. I mean, it started with crypto punks, really cool idea like 3, 4, 5 years ago when it were incepted as like a big main showcase for NFTs. But over time now it's expanding and people are figuring out new creative ways to leverage the same technology to build communities and do all this cool stuff, right? So we identify that, we see that, but being that we're metaverse focused, I think immediately we understood there's a huge opportunity to kind of like bring life to these things and get them to start doing functional activities within the metaverse, right? I mean, considering that's been our focus for the last 2 years with the Metazone platform, building game content and allowing creators to build their own game content, to deploy it on land, all these important things, right? So, and on top of that, we're also very game focused. Like, we're all gamers. We grew up gamers. So we understand the value of gaming too. Because alongside this whole PFP movement is the play to earn movement that's also blowing up and expanding. Axie Infinity, Ethermon, Splinterlands, all these big projects are starting to, their communities are going bonkers, dude. The things we've been talking about for the last year or so, like on our podcast, how play to earn is going to change a lot of things, right? It's going to introduce a whole new level of opportunity for players who want to engage in these economies, these ecosystems. We're starting to see it actually be realized. And we think the metaverse is like an untapped gold mine for play to earn, ecosystems to exist in. So totally, I don't know. It's like these two, you can call them trends, you can call them revolutions, movements, whatever you want to call them. They can coexist in a perfect way to where, the PFP avatar, character creation process, that's like the beginning layer to constructing a play to earn ecosystem, right?
Yep.
So that I think that's what our main motivation as far as like Metazone, to facilitate that, to let creators envision a game universe. But step one is create these characters, these entry points, if you want to call them, these vehicles, these vessels into the metaverse, so that they could start engaging with game content and earning from these economies, these micro economies, if you want to call them. So that, to me, that's my main motivation. Luckily, we have Oscar here. Because I can think about all this stuff all day long. But until somebody actually builds the tools for these things to become reality, these are just thoughts, right? So the good news is we have these tools now, and we're actually putting these tools to use with the Rovy project, so that just like we did with metas, right? Like Oscar had to build the first metas, the block runner. If you read, I know you remember these games, the block runner, orb jumper, all these first games. These are the first metas. Yeah, block hole, pack runner. These were the first metas. The graffiti wall, all that cool stuff. These were the first metas that existed in the metaverse. And since then, dude, like, I think we have over 300 metas now or something like that. The platform has generated over 3 million mana for creators. So it worked. Like, we've identified there is a creator economy that exists within the metaverse. But now it's the time to move everything on chain, right? And then fully realize that vision.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I mean, we're big in the metaverse. Like Iman was saying, it's I think that's the place where a lot of the utility is going to take place. And I think the PFP projects, it's like I mentioned before, if you listen to our podcast, that we saw Sushi Swap and Sushi like tokens and like these 1,000% yield like DeFi protocols, and we initially kind of looked at it and was like, man, this has to be a scam. There's no way you can get 1,000% yield. Like, there's no way. And then not even like a few months later, it was like widely adopted by pretty much all the DeFi projects. Pretty much everywhere you go, you can get a large percentage yield on your tokens. And we realized that we can't be making the same mistake when the first time you hear about Bitcoin, I was like, man, this fake internet money, it's not going to go anywhere. And everyone, they hear about Bitcoin, that's the first reaction until you start looking deeper. And the same thing goes with these PFP projects. You look at them, you see these pickles, you see these potatoes and ducks and all kinds of stuff. And initially, you get the reactions like, man, I don't know why anybody would buy these, right? But when you really look at it from like the nuts and bolts, like, this is a good like community building tool. And so we're taking that idea and like applying that functionality that we think makes these NFTs more valuable. Really, it makes it more interesting, more engaging. And of course, you look at Axie, they're dominating, right? And in the grand scheme of things, Axie's dominating the crypto space, but you compare that progress and that process to traditional gaming, they're still small. So there's a ton of growth left, and there's going to be a ton of like, play to earn activities for people to do. And I agree with Iman's premise is that the metaverse is going to be the playground of a bunch of play to earn activities. And I think, if you've kind of followed what we've been kind of like preaching, ultimately any project that deploys into the metaverse, they're going to have an entire suite, like an ecosystem. You're going to have your 721s and 1155s, and then of course your counterpart ERC20 to support your ecosystem. And that goes to even like influencers, right? We're seeing social tokens be successful, right? They're extremely volatile and it's like high risk, but I think there's places for these things. And at this point, we're still trying to figure out like the sustainable model for it. So Oscar Corv screen name.
Yep.
Talk about the sort of requirements that you had to kind of think through, because like if you go back to when you first built Metazone and you deployed the Block Runner game, right? So our podcast is called The Block Runner. And we just so happen to build a simple game. We just jump over blocks, and we just happen to call it Block Runner. And so talk through like any similarities that you saw with deploying content into Decentraland, that difficulty, and then, coming up with like the tools to make procedurally generated robots. Like how did you kind of think through all that stuff?
Yeah. So, hey, community, this is Corv, finally being public with my face and getting on here once again. But yeah, I built Metazone, after these guys spoke to Maddie and learned about kind of the Decentraland SDK and being an engineer and also a software engineer and making games originally as why I got into coding. I kind of put the two and two together, like started building a game like for my background and make it as simple as possible. And that was the Block Runner actually. And it was a simple jumping game over there. But the goal was to get this game deployed on multiple lands. And I learned how difficult it was. So therefore I built Metazone to make that process easier, to get one creation on many lands. And then, obviously it turned into a marketplace where you can upload your own creations and get them deployed on any land. Mm-hmm. So having a deep understanding of like the deployment process for a metaverse, and then we learned recently about these PFP projects, and then also the rise of Axes, dominating the crypto game space and like bringing in all these new individuals into the crypto game. Like I realized I learned about both roughly around the same time. Mm-hmm. So thinking about like, understanding the deployment process for Decentraland, like how do you get, creators, creating PFP projects that can also be deployed in the metaverse. Like you can't exist, we can't continue existence without in the crypto space without, deploying stuff in the metaverse. Like your brand will need to exist in the metaverse as it expands. So we put these ideas together and mix them all up. And yeah, that's where Rovies came about, where you can, create these different pieces and put them all together and generate, 10,000 unique individual characters. And then these will, be able to be deployed in the metaverse. But on top of that, with the Metazone tech that we're building out, for creators to take advantage of is attaching like tokens and tokenomics to these creations and in making it, adding the gameplay where it's similar to Axes, like similar like capabilities. Like we can take it wherever we want, but putting all these pieces together, metaverse deployment, PFP, generation of characters, and then having these characters roam around in the metaverse and interact in games and generate tokens. Like these are all like the pieces that originally Axes, started with, minus the metaverse. So we being metaverse individuals, like we know where everything is going, and having these characters like be on your land and you be in there present while your Rovies are battling, like that's what we want to see. That's where we want to take things, and we made this platform to do that. And Rovies is basically our our coming out party for this feature set for creators.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that for a second. So, I guess when you make a product like Metazone and you kind of think through like all these different tools that have been created, and Oscar's still working on some of the templates. Like, you go back to, I don't know, I guess showing my age, but back when there was GeoCities, I think GeoCities was like one of the early internet websites where you kind of created your own page and you basically created your own website. And now we see things like Webflow and Squarespace, and now it's like a drag and drop website builder. And then you see this huge proliferation of internet websites, right? And that's really come from developers who said, right now it's too complicated to make websites. And so let's just make it easier for anybody to make a website. And so, and that's the same premise with Metazone. It's like, let's make it easier for anybody to make content and deploy it in the metaverse. And then now let's make it easier for anybody to make these PFP projects and have some embedded functionality, which is deploying to the metaverse, and then attaching tokenomics and gameplay functions to it. Just adds that value that we all want from our NFTs, and we just want to make it easier for everybody to do it. Like that's a simple premise, and so I guess my point in saying this is the only way to really showcase these tools is to not really talk about the tools, talk about the results of the tools, and one of the results, like before when we first launched Metazone, is just the games that Corv created. Right, that was the result of allowing people to make metas. So he made his own meta, and it was successful. And now Rovies is the result of these tools, and so we just want to set an example for anyone who has another idea. It doesn't have to be robots; could be anything else. Could be monsters of any kind, whatever it is. And have a 3D designer make aspects of your character. Doesn't have to be humanoid. It could be with 4 legs or anything like that, anything you can think of, and have it procedurally generate a character and come up with your own game style for Metaverse. And so we're connected to Decentraland in a way where we want the interoperability of assets. And so part of Rovy's design is creating its own Metaverse. And the idea behind that is not just to create another metaverse to create another metaverse. Is we also feel like there's going to be a lot of metaverses out there, but the one thing that with blockchain makes sense is that interoperability of assets. And so if you have a Rovy running around Decentraland, well, that Rovy should be running around in the Rovyverse, and then maybe one day we'll support something like Unreal Engine. And then now you just have a high resolution version of your Rovy on that metaverse. And so just like there's tons of websites, I feel like there's going to be tons of metaverses. Like Axie's working on theirs. There's a ton of projects working on their own metaverse. And I think the way that metaverses should work is having that interoperability. So that's the other showcase here, is that Rovy is going to have its own metaverse called the Rovy Matrix, right, Oscar?
Yeah, the Rovy Matrix. And the beauty about this metaverse is that it runs on your phone. So you'll be able to join in, see your Rovies running around on your phone, and you're not stuck to a desktop computer. But why we were able to do this is because we understand the deployment process of metas into the Decentraland metaverse. So understanding that, like, we have this list of we have a bunch of metas that are on the platform, and now every single one of those metas, the goal is to get them in deployable in this alternate metaverse. And so basically we increase the value of everybody's holdings of metas, and now they're going to be deployable in an alternate metaverse. So, so you can deploy them in either Decentraland or today, I mean, whenever we launch Rovy Matrix. So why not more, metaverses? Yeah. Why does this interoperability have to stop here? So we want to launch an SDK for other metaverses to take advantage of and understand how we're doing it and implement it into their own. So
that's right.
If any other metaverse out there wants to deploy Rovies into their metaverse, the power of all the technologies that we're building into how these Rovys operate and breed and battle. Like they'll be able to instantly, if they implement this SDK, and have it available in their metaverse. So.
Yeah, so essentially anyone who's creating a metaverse that uses our SDK, basically any meta that's created, including a Rovy, would be able to traverse that world. That's essentially what you're saying, right?
Yep, correct.
So yeah, I mean, the Rovy project is, I don't know, if you compare it to any other PFP project, it's vastly kind of different in the sense that the first thing that's obvious is that any general average, just pick a project. Everybody is anonymous, and Iman and I have debates on this every now and then, and I think there's a place for projects being anonymous, but I think in large part, I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense to be anonymous because I don't feel like there's a reason to be, but I do think it's okay to be anonymous. I do think that. However, I don't think there is a platform. I don't think there is a protocol for properly being anonymous and having some sort of history backing it. So, like, let's say Satoshi starts a new project, the real Satoshi. Everybody's going to ape into that one, and as they should, right? As they should. But there's no way to prove that Satoshi would start another project unless there's some sort of blockchain history, some sort of blockchain identity. And I think that's what's missing. There's projects working on that, but ultimately, I think there's more value in a project when you're not anonymous. And I mean, that's why we're talking about it. What do you think, Iman? What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it's just in our nature. I don't know. We've been fully transparent ever since we started developing in the space with Metazone, and that's just the way we are, dude. I don't think we like to hide anything. Like I mean, a lot of the things we might end up talking about, I mean, we run the risk of maybe like overstating things potentially. That's kind of like the downside risk of being so transparent. A lot of these projects like to be, quiet about what it is they're working on because they don't really have, I guess they don't feel confident enough in the things that they're saying. Potentially that could be a reason because they could say something that they can't actually live up to into the future. So to avoid that and to upset a lot of people within the community, let's just not say anything. There's that. So that's part of the reason why as we're developing Rovys, as we're developing more Metazone features, we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be doing exactly what we're doing now. We want to have constant open communication with the community, and we want feedback from the community. We want to hear from you guys. Do you agree with what it is we're building? Like, do you agree with our vision? Yeah. Are we fucking out of our minds? Like, we need that feedback loop. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. Yeah. For the community. And yeah, also it's to give you guys confidence in supporting us, because if you're supporting a bunch of anons, there's obviously a lot of risk in that. Because I mean, these dudes could just disappear, or you find out it's just a bunch of dudes in Russia. Pretending that there were women all along, stuff like this. This shit happens all the time in the NFT space. You can only believe what's being told to you on like a website so much, right? So I don't know. This is just how we think. So this is our philosophy of things, and we're gonna keep doing it.
And I totally agree. I think there's definitely a space for being anonymous, but I just don't think when it comes to like these NFT assets, I really don't think it makes sense. But that doesn't mean that you can't find value in these NFTs where projects are anonymous. There's a lot there's like a lot of good reasons to kind of jump into those projects for sure. Just because you like the art, or you feel like the project is going to have a lot of attraction to a wider set of the community. And so,
see, but a big problem with the PFP space and a lot of these projects is they put too much, they overburden the community as far as like
exactly
giving the community the responsibility to create value for that ecosystem. So of course we want the community to contribute and create additional value, but I mean, we're going to put in our maximum contribution ourselves as founders of this project.
It's like, imagine if Satoshi came out with just the white paper, right? It would have been if nerds read it, they would be like, hey, this is pretty cool. But that's as far as it's going to go. Nobody's going to build it. And so it's the same thing. It's like you put up a website, there's a 10K project, and the art looks cool, but then you read through and like at 100% sales, it's like it's up to you to come up with some functionality for these things. It's like it doesn't. I don't know. To me, it doesn't feel right, and so that's sort of like kind of we just don't agree with that. But like I said, doesn't mean that these NFTs don't have any value. I think there's some aspects of them that could turn into something extremely valuable, like these CryptoPunks, right? They're going for millions of dollars and they don't do anything, and there's space for that. But when it comes to like having functionality and having the functionality of Axie like come into a PFP project, I think would be equally as valuable.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Yeah. So let's talk about the project. So for you guys listening, there is going to be a giveaway. There is going to be one Rovy given out to you guys. The way that works is you have to create an account with Metazone and add your ETH address there, and we'll pick someone random through a bot that we've added to Discord. And then in 3 days, on that countdown, 3 days and 7 minutes, you'll be able to mint this thing. And so, Oscar, talk about like the minting process, or talk about like what you're going to be able to do on day one.
Yeah. So we're also like looked into all these PFP projects and kind of understood like most of these projects are just like receiving an NFT in exchange for ETH, which is great. It's an NFT and you can sell it and all that. But like we want to like do something different. So what people are going to be buying is a transporter device, and this transporter will contain a supercharger NFT, and inside the supercharger NFT will contain a Rovy, and this Rovy will contain RNG stats. So basically, whenever you're investing in this Rovy project, you're gonna get in return at least 3 NFTs if you decide to open your transporter. And the interesting thing about the transporter that we haven't like kind of fully disclosed is that it has one of 5 superchargers inside. Mm-hmm. And these superchargers are used by the Rovys to charge up their batteries. So they'll drain energy, and then you'll need to go take them to a charger to regain their energy. And so all these 5 different superchargers, like on one land, if there's just one supercharger on the land, then it charges at a certain slow speed. But if there's all five varieties of superchargers on one land, then you'll have quicker charging. So basically, we want you to like have more visitors. Like you will have more visitors to your land, and these superchargers will cost a little bit of gear tokens to utilize. So every time somebody visits your land and you have a supercharger there, then every time they use it, like you'll earn some passive gears for offering that service on your land. Mm-hmm. So yeah, these PFPs that we're offering are way more enhanced, and eventually we're gonna roll out a 4th NFT for everybody that holds Rovys in their wallets, and give these land NFTs to people. So everybody will get, everyone that's a holder of a Rovy is going to get a land NFT. And that means that you can go to the Rovi app or Rovy website and on your phone and have people visit your land and decorate it however you want, on this NFT that you got, for investing in the PFP project of Rovy. So
yeah. And so we've kind of designed a little bit of an unboxing experience. I think I may have seen a few projects do that, but so this one is essentially a couple of metas that you're unboxing. So as soon as you receive your transporter, I think the only function of that would be just to open it. But outside of that opening or unboxing experience, you can deploy that to your land, whether it's the Rovy land or in Decentraland. And then the question here comes is, once you have the supercharger, it's like you can either leave your Rovy inside the supercharger or unbox it. And then when you unbox it, you have an RNG set of stats. And that stat is quickly kind of like, you can see how rare one might be if you have like a completely flawless Rovy. And And so that's this number right here. It's kind of easy to tell like how rare it's going to be. And so if you like collected any, figurines before, some people like to leave them in the box. And so we have that same kind of concept here. These things might be more valuable in the box, or they're more valuable as an asset that you go and play to earn these tokens. So that's sort of why this is set up this way. And, I think it's a little bit more fun, right? It's a little bit more fun unboxing experience rather than just getting an NFT right in your wallet. So that's why that's there. But yeah, so ultimately we have a couple of design kind of aspects to our battle game. We're still trying to figure out some of the details, but it could be sort of like an action-based game where you're active, or it's going to be more kind of laid back where you're less active, and it's all based on your stats and RNG. So there's a couple of ways to do it. We're still trying to figure out the best way, but we're leaning towards more like an active gameplay rather than passive. So yeah,
and once we're closer, we'll let the community play test some of the versions that we create for battling, and kind of get that experience, more like get some feedback on the experience and get everybody kind of involved in kind of like the decision of where the player versus player is going to go, where the player versus environment is going to go, and see what everybody's appreciating more.
Yeah, so we got a couple of questions on YouTube, and one of the questions is, do you think the breeding system is part of the Axie's success? Is there something similar Rovy might implement? Yeah, so great question. So I do think part of Axie's success is the breeding system. I mean, a large part of their revenue comes from the breeding itself. And that's important to have a game. I mean, think about this. Like, if you have a bunch of NFTs, these are assets that withstand time, potentially, right? Like Bitcoin's going to outlive us. Potentially, these Rovys are going to outlive us. And so you need to come up as a game designer a way to have expansion of your game. And so that's what Axie did. They were right in their thinking in terms of design that these Axies needed to have some degree of expansion, and that expansion is based on how big your community is. If your community is huge, then there should be a huge expansion of Axies, right? So it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so we have a design for the expansion of Rovys. Like, for example, so there's a couple of attributes that these Rovys have that go for now in its current design about 100,000 permutations. In the design that we were talking about this morning, we'll have more around 1 million permutations, and that's just with adding a couple of additions to the Rovy itself. And so it quickly scales up. But what we don't want to do is have 1 million Rovys running around and like nobody like actively playing. So we have to design a way, such as breeding, that allows the expansion of the game in proportion to the size of the community. So that's the brilliance of breeding, is that it's completely based on how big your community is. So
yeah, with Rovys, we kind of saw all these pieces of game designs and designs of visual designs and then metaverse designs, and since we're deep in the metaverse like of Decentraland, so we took all these pieces and included it into the Rovys project. So breeding was a key aspect of Rovys. Basically landowners can get a hold of a replicator meta, and this replicator can be installed on a land, and when people go there, they need to have 2 Rovys that interact with this replicator meta, and it will generate a new Rovy. We haven't figured out, it'll include required gear tokens and some loot that you get from PvE, but basically you would generate a new Rovy. And the purpose of that is to allow more players to join in on the game. Because if there's only 10,000 like little characters and it takes 3 to battle them in a PvP, where all the value is getting generated with the gear tokens, then you have a small player base. But so we need to include this great design by Axies to expand the amount of characters that are available and get the player base increasing. So because otherwise, if you're wanting to join the Rovy's gameplay, then you need to go to OpenSea and buy one of these 10,000. But these 10,000 will cost a lot if there's only 10,000. So. Mm-hmm. So that's why that design is there.
Yeah, makes sense. So a comment from Mars Jane, the most cutting edge podcast, bleeding edge of culture right here. Yeah, appreciate it, Mars Jane. There's another question here that says, if someone wants to be a member of Rovy Designers, what's the best field in university, or is it what is it, mechatronic or electrical engineer? So interesting question. There's a couple of ways to go about it. So let's just talk about our backgrounds. So our backgrounds are kind of, I don't know, sort of unrelated to cryptocurrencies for the most part. So I have a background in chemical engineering. Iman is in a biology background, and then Oscar's always been a developer since he was a kid, and so it applies in cryptocurrency to a certain degree. But to pick a degree so we have our thoughts about universities. It's depending on which country you're in, of course. In the U.S., it's kind of right? But in other countries, it might be more worth it. But in terms of like the degree, I think any science-based degree is going to be valuable no matter what happens with the world. So whether we have an apocalypse or we have a utopia, science is going to be the thing to study. So even if it's like 3D modeling all the way down to engineering, like anything related to that, it's always going to be useful. Currently, I'm not using my degree, obviously. I'd rather be in the crypto space rather than in the chemical design plant space. I'm just more interested in this area. But yeah, I mean, it's all about your motivation, really. It's, really what you want to get into, get motivated by intrinsically, and then just go after it and don't stop until you get through it. I mean, that's really essentially how we got here.
Yeah, I would say like start your own project at home. Like get a hold of these like hardware pieces like Arduinos and like start building your own stuff, and you'll become during that process you'll learn how difficult it is to do these things, and you'll become valuable to employers to like hire you as an expert, like with a lot of background experience and having hands-on with this technology that you would like to get into. So that's what I did with I went to school for computer science, but my hands-on experience with doing my own projects at home, making games, making websites, making applications, like, that's where I became valuable, not the degree that was appointed by, certain classes that you attend. It's more the experience that you have hands-on onto any project.
100% agree. I think a lot. I mean, even Elon said it best that it doesn't really matter what degree you have, if you have a degree or not. It's like, how motivated are you, right? If you're really motivated, then you're just gonna work your way towards getting to where you want to be, right? And that's the bottom line. People want people who want to be there, not people who have degrees. And so, I mean, man, I didn't think we were going to be talking about life advice, but there you go.
Hey, you guys went super deep, dude.
Yeah.
Holy.
Speaking of Elon, we chose the 19th as the launch day for the Rovys because it's AI Day. So Tesla is going to be announcing some of their advancements in artificial intelligence with how their Tesla electric vehicles drive around without a need for driving, actually physically being paying attention and moving the steering wheel. Like they have this artificial intelligence looking at the cameras, and they're going to be announcing some cool stuff on the 19th. So that's why we chose the 19th as a launch date for Rovys, because we see this as new cool tech and little artificial intelligence, little characters having their own personalities. So yeah, that's
awesome. I'm just reading some of the chat comments here. It's like, any plans for Rovy wearables? And DBSA says, I want my Rovys to drop out. That's
to
funny.
What? Drop out of college?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make a Rovy Academy or something meta where they can.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Starting up in the future.
And then they can drop out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can just opt out. Like, nah, this sucks, dude.
Yeah. So we do have a couple of good questions. So Rovy wearables, and then Syed is asking, can people customize their own Rovys later once they're generated or dripped out? Oh, okay. Not dropped out, dripped out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we definitely want to drift them out for sure.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so it's funny. It's funny you asked. We were talking about this very thing this morning. And so the idea is that you can append these wearables or remove these wearables. And part of the idea is having the community make wearables as well. So we'll give you kind of the framework as to how these wearables will work. But yeah, that is something that we're thinking about. And that was going to be one of our questions to you guys, to the community is, if we made this functionality available, would that be something, you guys would be interested in building these wearables for these Rovys? And so, yeah, I'll let you guys kind of think through that. And so we're going to do these live streams pretty frequently, roughly, 2 to 3 times a week. And so we're going to be gathering again. Obviously, we're going to be giving out Rovys, so make sure you tell everybody to come listen to this. And so we're going to be doing this often. We don't necessarily want to be online for an hour, but, if it makes sense, we can be. But having said that, let's set up this giveaway so that everybody listening can have a chance. For those of you on YouTube, make sure you join our Discord. This giveaway is going to be happening on Discord via a Discord bot. So yeah, just make sure you jump into Discord, scroll all the way down. You'll see a live chat. That's where it's going to be happening. So if you guys give me a second, I'll set this thing right up, and we'll be giving a Rovy in the next few minutes.
Yeah, based on the community feedback, we'll choose to do wearables or not. But yeah, if we did wearables, then I guess everybody would get have a chance at getting an additional NFT if they're the Rovi that they unbox from the supercharger happens to be wearing one of these wearables. So more NFTs if the community likes this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, almost there. There's going to be one winner, and the giveaway prize is.
So what do people need to do?
Okay, 1 second. One Rovy. So I'm gonna call this one Rovy NFT. Just to be clear, you're getting a transporter where you have a whole unboxing experience and all that. So so yeah, here we go. One Rovy.
Yeah,
NFT.
one lucky person is gonna get all these NFTs if they choose to unbox it all.
Okay, so the bot has commented on the live chat. Just hit the emoji there, the little red icon, the little, I don't know what you would call that thing. Just click on that thing, and then you'll be entered into this random giveaway. And so this will end in the next 5 minutes. So you guys listening on YouTube, make sure you head into Discord and click on that giveaway bot comment. So yeah, so we'll be on for the next 5 minutes or so, just kind of chatting and seeing who the winner is. But yeah, so we're gonna be doing this more often. Obviously, we're gonna schedule this so that everybody knows ahead of time, what's going on. We just wanted to have like an ad hoc kind of meeting and just try to kick things off and just talk to you guys and hear your comments, thoughts, questions, concerns, all that stuff.
Yeah, and if you guys want to help the project out, like always be, the thing that we need is get the word out there. Like spread the word, tell your friends, tell anybody that, to invest in this project because, you see the value in it. We're trying our hardest to, put a lot of value into these NFTs. So, and we're excited to get everybody, playing in this new game, get a hold of their Rovys via the unboxing. Like it's going to be a crazy next couple of weeks for us to get this out there to you guys.
Yeah, and so let's talk about August 19th. So on August 19th, we will be opening up pre-sales, I guess, if you want to call it. I mean, to me, that's a very ugly word. But what we want to do is on the August 19th is we're going to sell 500 Rovys for half price. And so that is exactly 0.0505 ETH. And so it'll be half price, and it's only up to 500 Rovys. And then after that, it's just going to be full price beyond that. So I think how many are we going to sell any more beyond 500, Oscar, on that day? Or are we just going to give ourselves a little runway here?
So there's 10,101 Rovys. And so so we're going to hold on to 101 for giveaways. So 101 Rovys, like I guess we're gonna have 100 left in these giveaway pool. So the first one is going to be, dropped right here in this in the next couple minutes. But yeah, 10,000 are going to be available for purchase, and 500 of those are going to be available at the pre-sale. And I think, depending on how quickly they sell, I guess we'll decide if we're going to do another 500 bit before the actual launch day, which is going to be. Have we announced when we're going to do the actual date?
So, Iman, are we on part of that website? What's it called? Rarity Tools?
Yeah, we just got listed this morning on Rarity Tools. So the full launch date, September 2nd, I believe 6 p.m. UTC.
So 1 p.m. Central. Okay, cool.
So roughly 15 days later from now, we'll be able to do the full launch of the 10,000 or 9,500.
Yeah, 9,500. Okay, so 15 days later, you'll be able to purchase the remaining 10,000. So, so on August 19th again, 500 are for sale, half price, and then after that, the next time you'll be able to purchase would be 2 weeks from that point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Juju Maine, I work as a consultant for a crypto investment firm. If you need liquidity or investments, we'd love to open the dialogue. Interesting. Cool, man. I'll definitely hit you up just to see what you guys got going on.
Yeah, we're going to be considering a couple different ways to help the community buy these things. So like, doing multiple purchases with one gas fee, and then also like a deposit feature. So we're considering like allowing people to deposit funds ahead of time. That way they can immediately get their, not have to worry about gas on that day or anything like that. Like immediately get a chance at purchasing.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And so a kind of other details that you guys need to be aware of is these are Polygon assets, and but we're accepting on-chain ETH or main chain ETH specifically. The reason we were doing that is because we have a little bit of experience with like bridging assets and all that, and it's not a pretty experience, and so we want to kind of minimize the barrier to entry for this thing. And so for main chain ETH, we'll deliver you a Polygon asset. And the value there is that when trading this Polygon asset, there are no fees or very, very little fees. Like it takes like sometimes 10,000th of a Matic token, which Matic right now is about $1.50. So it's feeless essentially. But so yeah, that's sort of that kind of like the framework for everything that we're doing here. Oh, Fisheye.
Right, you got a winner.
Nice. All right, Fisheye, can you DM me your ETH address and also make sure you have an account on Metazone.io. Create an account, add your name, add your ETH address there. That way, I got your entry there. All right, Fisheye. Congrats, dude.
Congrats, dude. Yeah, the first Rovy giveaway recipient. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more to come for sure. So, we'll probably give some away on actually there is a Twitter retweet campaign.
Yes. Yeah, you want to find that tweet, Iman, and post it on the link here?
Good idea. Okay.
What's the deadline for this tweet? Retweet.
Tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure the time, but yeah, let me post it here.
Cool.
Let's see.
Yeah. So make sure you guys share this around. I don't know how quickly we're gonna sell this out. I mean, who knows? Maybe it sells out, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it sells out in a minute. Who really knows? But yeah, we're gonna still make this one of those things where we're gonna support for a while.
Yep, definitely.
There it is. Okay, guys. Yeah, it's simply to enter that one. Just retweet that tweet, tag a couple friends, follow our Twitter account, and since you're already here in the Discord, you don't have to do that. That one ends tomorrow at 6 p.m. UTC.
Yeah. Yeah, Fisheye, just DM me your ETH address and also go to Metazone.io and create an account if you don't already have one and add your ETH address there. And then all we'll do is we'll assign a Rovy to you and you'll be able to mint it on August 19th. Is that correct, Oscar?
Yeah, that's correct.
Cool.
And then the next time we're going to be on is that day, right?
We might do some sprinkles here and there. Just
so that day is the 19th. Yeah, we'll go live on the 19th as well. But we might have other videos and other content that we'll do before then as well. So
yeah, definitely stay tuned in to the announcement channel for Metazone's Discord, to our Twitter page, all that stuff. Because, yeah, I mean, we're going to post this video. Well, it's going to be on our Block Runner YouTube channel. So it'll eternally exist on the internet to refer back to kind of like revisit this discussion and know what the vision is. But yeah, we need to hone in on the nitty gritty details of this project too, and continually release these updates over time. As soon as the more mechanical stuff is set in stone.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's correct.
So we'll be doing that with more videos, Medium articles, more community discussions just like this, keep you guys informed.
Yeah. And all the talks will be scheduled. This was, like I said, this was ad hoc, and just wanted to get together real quick and just kind of make sure we can set things up properly and just have like a little trial run and give something away today. But all the rest of the talks will be scheduled. That way you guys kind of prepare your schedules if you want to attend those. But yeah, that has been us with Rovy and the Block Runner and Metazone and all these things that we're doing. And I appreciate you guys attending, man. This is, I know how valuable, think about this. Time is more valuable than anything that we have, more than money, anything, right? And you guys decided to spend 30, 40 minutes with us, so we really appreciate that. And then hopefully we'll see you kind of back and with another giveaway and some updates with Rovy. Appreciate you guys, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next stream.
Later, guys. Peace out. Bye bye.